multi, and then damage, and destroy everything. Lightning penetration for an alk. There you go, guys. As I was saying before, I chuck those gems in for an alk, and people buy them. And I get those alks every now and then, which I put back onto the jewelry and make more money with. Oh yes. There you go. This is a perfect intro to my second video, right? So let's do this, guys. G'day, ZGD here. Welcome back. In the last video, we identified a huge amount of loot and valued and sold a lot of loot, and I talked through the process of what I pick up and why. And part of that was gems and how I put them up just for one alk, just because people will buy them just because they priced at an alk. So I just make a regular small income from that, just a little trickle, almost passive income. And there you go. I literally just sold one of those for you guys. Thought I would start the video there. It seemed like a good time to start. So, moving into this second part will probably be quite a bit shorter than the first part, but we're going to price these items, essentially. We're going to take each of these items and price them. Now, I suppose we'll start with unique items, because as I was saying, I know the value of most of these uniques, or I know the rough value of them. I also know that these uniques really aren't worth much. None of them are really worth anything. But I'll take you guys through the process of pricing uniques anyway, because I think it's a good thing to learn. So what we're doing is we're going to the website poe.trade. poe.trade. It's kind of a weird URL, but this is the site you want to go to. You want to select your league, and then for pricing uniques, it's quite simple. We take the name of the unique, the rat cage, and literally just type it in, the rat cage. And then what you want to do is search for buyout only. I think that's fine for pricing, to search buyout only. And then you just click on one of these here, and it will sort by value, and you can see that there's a bunch of these guys up for a chisel. So that's essentially an alk. There's some here for a fusing, and if we verify, we see they're still there, which means they haven't sold. 3 jewelers hasn't sold. An alk probably still hasn't sold. I basically know that this item's not worth anything. The second thing to test with uniques is, what are the variable roles? What actually changes? We can see that evasion changes. We can see that the the life ink changes. So evasion and life changes. I can see 190 there, still only an alk. We can search by life, so we can click on the life and it'll search by life. 200, still only a chaos. I mean, this guy's 10 chaos, but I think he's dreaming. There's ones here for a chaos that haven't sold, I'm pretty sure. So we can see, even with the max life roll, no one's buying this chest. The chest is kind of weird, to be honest, so we know that no one's really buying it. At that point, not even selling for an alk or a chaos or a couple jewelers, I'm probably just going to vendor it. Because most uniques vendor for a decent amount of currency, like 16 alteration shards, almost an ult, and a part of a quarter of an alk. That's worth more than what people are trying to trade it for. So I'll just vendor it. And I get the feeling like a lot of these are vendor ones. So next one is Zendithius's Cassock. In the last video I talked about checking which ones are in the challenges. So we identified that this belt, based on the art, based on the unique list here, Belt of the Deceiver, is in the challenges list. Belt of the Deceiver. So we're going to leave that unidentified. But anything that isn't on the challenges list, we can just price and sell. So again, same process. We're looking for how do I spell this thing? Zendithius's. There we go. We just write the first part. Nothing else has that in it. And we can search by price again. And we can see that there's ones for a jeweler here. There's ones for a couple alterations, and I bet they're not selling. Now the variables on this one, chaos resistance, energy shield. That looks like the 2 variables. So we can search by, is like a max chaos resist worth a lot? No, it's not. Is max energy shield worth a lot? No, it's not. Maybe one with 2 perfect rolls might be the most likely to sell, but it's not going to sell for anything more, I don't think. So, this case, which is a chest armor, and just like the last one as well, if, however, you found a 6 socket, or a 5 link, or a 6 link, that would actually be worth something. A lot of chest armors and weapons, uniques, are worth nothing if they aren't linked, but if they are linked, they become worth a lot. For example, a 5 or 6 link quill rain is going to be worth a lot. It's actually going to be worth a decent amount of money, whereas a non-linked quill rain is not even an alk. So if you find a linked or a 6-socketed item, then you might want to start considering sell it. But this one, again, another piece of vendor food, and again, we get a bit of currency for it. So more than it's worth the effort or inventory space in selling. Now Bronze Life usually does sell for an alk as a microtransaction because it looks kind of cool. You can see it's kind of a cool looking chest armor. So people buy it to make their characters look cool, right? I mean, yeah, I look pretty rad with that thing on. But it kind of depends on how many are available, and usually it doesn't sell for much anyway. So same process though. We can just search here. Bronze. How do I spell that? It's 2 N's and an S. And I imagine this one's going to be like a one-hour deal. So searching by cheapest, looks like there's some chisels, alterations. We can just see if these guys have sold. You know, a couple alterations haven't sold. I could sell this for a few. Maybe I could try and undercut them a bit, sell for a couple alterations. But you know, I'm not really going to worry about it so much. I'm probably just going to vendor it because I get basically an alteration and some alch shards there anyway. Okay, now I'm pretty sure I know that Ice Tomb is the same deal. I know that Ondar's Clasp is the same deal. So I'm just going to vendor these guys as well. I'll take out the middleman for you guys. I think, yeah, Ice Tomb is kind of a decent leveling chest, but no one really recognizes it as a decent leveling chest, so no one buys it. So you got to go with the market. There we go, a little bit of currency there. Do all uniques have unique skins? No, they don't. Some don't have unique skins yet. Some will have them added in the future. It's something that GGG is doing over time. So this one here is Baited Breath. I think this one might sell for like a chaos or something, but we'll check. We'll check anyway. Baited Breath. This is, I think this is another one that is one of the ID ones. Actually, it might be worth a little bit more. Let's have a look. 1 chaos. Yeah, it looks like it might be a 1 chaos deal. Yeah, there's a few there verified for chaos. One sold for a chaos, so we know that they're potentially selling for a chaos. But these ones are all identified. Unidentified probably sells for another chaos. So this one I'm going to chuck up for a chaos, since they are potentially selling. You could undercut and sell for an alch. In fact, let's undercut and sell for an alch, just so we can get a sale on it. Otherwise, we could check the variable rolls too. Might be worth doing. What is the variable rolls? Because one with like perfect energy shield, for example, might be worth a little bit more in low level dueling. So here's some perfect ES rolls. I mean, looks like there's a couple ones there that are actually a little bit better, but ours is only 27, so we can be like, yeah, 27 doesn't appear to be worth anything extra. But if you got a 31, then maybe be like, alright, maybe I can sell this for 2 chaos, maybe 3 chaos, so maybe a little bit more. But ours is not worth anything. But again, unidentified, that one's actually worth something. Because people are paying premium for the ability to identify these items at the moment. In the future, this challenge might not exist if the challenge doesn't exist. It's just kind of like, I'm just mentioning this so that you guys are, you know, keep aware of these sorts of extra things that can add value to your items. Belt of the Deceiver, we'll look up this one. We'll see the base value of it. And then we'll probably leave it unidentified so that, I think I spelled it wrong. It's I before E, except after C? Oh, except after C. There we go. The rule comes through for us. It looks like a 1 alch, 1 chaos item. Yeah, even less. Not even selling for a couple alterations, I bet. So, however, because it's unidentified, I'll probably sell it for a chaos. Someone will want it for the achievement. The thing is, I'm not sure how this shows up in the shop. I might need to like sell that in trade chat or something. It might not be worth the effort, really. Okay, next thing. So uniques really easy to price. If you're ever asking someone or like a streamer or someone to price check your uniques, they're really easy to price uniques. Just these ones rule a little bit easy maybe. There are some more difficult ones. Usually the idea is if there's a bit of variety in the price, do what I did, search by price, try, you know, check the variable stats and verify the prices. See which ones have sold for what amounts, which ones haven't sold, and that'll give you an idea of the price for uniques. They're pretty easy to price uniques though. The easiest thing, however, in the game to price is gems. Quality gems. Gems in general, very easy to price. So, let's have a look. I have here a 13% Assassin's Mark. It's only level 7, so we'll pretty much ignore the level, because no one will really pay extra for level 7, because it only takes, like, an hour to level it up to that. Okay, so we just search Assassin's Mark here. You can search by gems if you want, but there's no real need to. Then what we're going to do is we're going to search by quality. We are 13 quality, so we want to just scroll down until we start seeing 13s. Around 13, so 14, I'm seeing like 8, 7, 6 chaos, 5 chaos for 13, 2 chaos for 13, so we can verify ones like that. There's 12, looks like 3, I'm not seeing anything below 2. There's 1 there for 11, that's 2% under us. And this one was verified for 2 chaos. I think what I would do is I would probably just sell this for like a chaos and a half. because it's gonna result in a faster sale. But it could potentially, yeah, I think this one hasn't sold for 2 chaos. I mean, there's not many others available though, and this guy's offline, so maybe because there's no one online selling it for this price, we can actually sell this for 2 chaos. So I'll put that up for 2 chaos. It's leveled as well, so maybe be like, oh, save a little bit of time on the level. I'll pay 2 chaos. So I think I'll sell that one for 2 chaos. Now this is a level 16 temp chains. I know in hardcore this would be worth a lot, but in a softcore league, temp chains is not very popular. Temp oral chains. What is the challenge? Is there a reward point to it? If you identify all of those items on the list, you get an extra like 1 tally next to your name, and if you complete like 6 of the 8 challenges, you can win some stuff, and then if you complete 8 of 8, you can win like shirts and stuff like that. There's some extra things. I'm not sure exactly. You can find on the actual site though. Okay, so again, searching by quality, we're level 16, or 16 quality I should say, so we'll start looking around 17. I'm seeing like 6 Chaos 17, we can check if that's available. This guy's online as well, so if this is sold and he's online, then we're getting pretty we're starting to get a good idea of the price. I'm imagining this one is unsold, so unsold, 6 Chaos, guy is online. Anyone currently looking for temp chains is not looking to pay 6 Chaos for 17 quality. So we now know what people aren't willing to pay. We're 16 again, so there's 5. I'm seeing a few 5s. I'm not seeing below 5. Here's a 3. Is this one sold? 3 chaos. Alright, if someone's not going to pay 3 chaos for 15 quality, they're definitely not going to pay 6 chaos for 16 quality or 17 quality. So, I mean, you can just chuck an extra GCP on it, and that's like a chaos and a half or a chaos. So, it's actually cheaper to buy a lower one and GCP it up. It's always kind of funny when you see like super overpriced for slightly higher quality when it literally just costs a GCP to get it to that next quality. So I'm seeing like 2 chaos for 15. Quality gems are worth way less than they used to be, thanks to gem cutters boxes. It looks like I'm seeing a 14 chaos for a 14 quality for 1 chaos here. And this guy, if this is not sold, all right, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm going to sell this one for 1 chaos. Sounds like a bit of a bro deal. Is a bit of a bro deal. The idea is that there's like, oh, I could buy someone looking is like, well, there's a 16 quality for 1 chaos. Alright, I'm going to buy that. So, a little bit cheap. Maybe you get a little bit more, but temp change is not very popular in softcore leagues. Now, here's a 17 quality Arctic Breath. Arctic Breath is not a very popular gem, but 17 quality is in the range of very good quality. So, we get a little bit more interested here in what this one could be. Okay, what do we got quality-wise? 17, and looks like I'm seeing like 10 chaos-ish for 20 quality, which is very cheap. So usually like a 20 quality gem might get up to like an Exalt or plus, or you know, maxes out of Exalt most of the time. But because Arctic Breath's very unpopular, no one really wants it. What's the quality bonus? Increased duration. It's a very poor quality bonus. Increased duration, not a big deal at all. So this one is not going to be worth a lot. It's a good quality amount. Less popular gem, not a very good quality bonus, so those things result in it being not worth much. But we're 17, we can still scroll down and price check a bit. I'm seeing people trying to, there we go, there's someone for 3 chaos. He's not online though, so you can't trust this because the guy's not online. So he might have just priced that and then never came, he might have like quit Path of Exile. So you can't fully trust that, but I think it's actually not outside of the realm of feasible. So there's like 2 chaos for 16 quality. I mean, maybe I could sell this for like 1 or 2 chaos. Someone who's getting an Arctic Breath anyway might pay like a chaos. So there's 1 chaos. Honestly, probably just going to try and get like another chaos for that. Yeah, at this point, you could potentially like GCP recipe that, but I'll try and get a chaos for it if I can. If it sits around for a while, I'll GCP it. Okay, so it's a shame, but unfortunately the quality bonus is not very good. 13% Vengeance. This one is also leveled slightly, level 12. So this one might be worth a little bit more. The quality on this one is not too bad. It gives an extra chance of casting the counterattack when hit. So we can look at Vengeance. And there's also a new gem, so new gems can be worth a little bit more because they're popular. There's a random chest armor in there. Alright, maybe we need to search by gems for this one because there's apparently a lot of things called Vengeance. Gem. Bam. Doom, doom. Period Trade doesn't show sold items most of the time. It's a feature. Yeah, I know that, but if you find... So if you're not seeing items, you know that they're potentially items that aren't there for that price. You know they're also not there. But I like to check verified anyway, because sometimes there are sold items, especially online people. If someone's online, you hit verify, and they may have sold it very recently. That gives you a very accurate price right there, or a fairly accurate price right there. But yes, it's true that items that are sold disappear after a little while. It's a part of the way it works. Okay, so this is 13 quality, but I still like to check it anyway, because when you do get that, sold item, you get a really accurate price. Okay, so I'm seeing 4, 5, 1 chaos for 12 quality. We're only 13, so I mean these guys are offline. So there's 2 there for 1 chaos, 2 chaos, 11 quality. I'm thinking like 1 to 2 chaos because this is leveled. I can add a little bit of extra price. I think probably maybe I could squeeze 2 chaos out of that. If I had a 1.5 tab, I'd put it in that. But we'll see. I'll put it in there and I'll drop it down to a chaos if it doesn't sell. Alright, so there's our gems. Nothing too valuable in terms of gems, just a couple 1 chaos items. At the very least, they'll become GCPs. Okay, so we'll do an LE one-hander here. This one is, as I said in the last video, for LE one-handers, you're looking for specifically over 2 attacks per second, which this one has. It actually has pretty good attack speed. Then you're looking for elemental damages. This one has 1 okay-ish elemental damage, but nothing really else. The accuracy and fire rates don't really matter, because a lot of elemental builds are not crit, and this is not a crit weapon anyway, so the accuracy doesn't matter too much. But let's get rid of this. We'll go to generic one-handed weapons. We will search attack speed, and we'll try and get this pretty close. We're 2.09, so I might go, oops, not 1, 2.06. Let's search for that, and we will just start there. And then we'll get an idea of what is the value of. So right now we're learning what is the value of attack speed. So we can search by max attack speed and see what's like the highest rolls available. 2.16. So we're not there. We're not over 2.1. But we're still pretty high. We can search by price. We're seeing 2.16 by itself, only 3 chaos. So now we're looking at the cheapest ones, 2.06, 2.09. So we're seeing some 2.09s here for like an alk. This one has some elemental damage on it, and it's like not really that different to ours. This one doesn't really have anything else, so this is pretty close to our weapon, right? It's actually almost identical to our weapon, just a different element. So we know that not a very valuable item, but early on in the league, maybe over 2 attacks per second, even without any LE, can potentially sell for a chaos or more. But at this point in the league, a couple weeks in, probably not really worth anything. So we could try and sell it for an alk as well. So I can chuck it in the alk bargain bin. Otherwise, you could just vendor that one. Okay, but that's how you would go and price it. So let's say we had one that was let's say it was 2.12 or something like that, and had 2 LE rolls. We can just search until we find those, or we can add into the explicits here. We can add extra elemental rolls into there. But just kind of scrolling down, we can see as the prices increase. So let's just scroll down until we get to like 2 chaos. Looks like these are all still 1 chaos. There might be a lot of 1 chaos items actually. Can I scroll down quite a bit? All right, we're into 2 chaos now. We're looking at 2.13. There's a 2.07, but it's got 2 LEs. It's also got some crit chance, so maybe a crit build would use that. I'm not sure. What else are we looking at here? 2.06 with 2 LEs, 3 LEs. This one for 2 chaos, 3 LE. So if we're not able to compete against a 2 chaos, 3 LE, 2.06, then yeah, not really gonna sell, I don't think. Okay, this one was an interesting wand. It's got some pretty good rolls on it, and has potential to be improved with crafting, master crafting. So what we could look for on this is we could calculate. There's a couple ways you could approach this. You could calculate the physical damage after you add what could be added with Tora, which is she can add 60 to 79 IPD. So you could try and craft that yourself and then try and sell it. That's the most likely way to try and sell it. But at 2 chaos, it's a bit of a risk. So you'd want to calculate it first. You could work out what the physical damage would be after you added that. Otherwise, you could just look at ones with similar stats on them. So we could go, oops. Let's go search ones up here. We have one down here, so we'll remove this attack speed. You can hit the reset button down here as well, by the way, to speed it up. So we can look for ones with, so we would be getting at least 100% IPD, right? 100% increased physical damage. So we can actually just increased. We could actually just let me just type in physical. That'll be faster. Increased physical damage. We could literally just search 100. Add mod. We could search for items that are very close to this. When you're searching for DPS, it automatically does the calculation of how much flat there is, how much attack speed there is, but we can look for weapons that have similar amounts to this. So we can go attack speed, increased attack speed, and this one's got like... Actually, an easy way of doing this is we can go attacks per second. Attacks per second is... Let's just put in 1.6. And then we can add in some flat fizz as well. And we can find weapons that look very similar to ours. There's a few ways of going about this. Physical, increased, adds physical damage. Now, this one's a little bit funny, because it's 7 to 16. I'm not sure what the way of doing this is, because you can't type 7 to 16 in there. Anyway, we'll just search for that. Alright, so we're looking at ones with 100% increased fizz. This is very close to our weapon right here, right? Check this out. 9% attack speed, we've got 11. 8 to 18, we've got 7 to 16. 43, and it added the 71. And that one's 12 chaos. So that's actually the cheapest one on there as well. It goes up a lot from there. So we can see if we mastercraft fizz on this, it's an imbued wand, which is a good base. I know imbued is good, and we can see there's all these imbued wands, which is what wanders want. That's the right base. And I'm seeing the price go up a lot there. This is 100 with 10 to 18 and attack speed, very similar to what ours would be after we mastercraft it. I'm getting excited, guys. This is good. Alright, this one jumped up a lot. So this one again is pretty similar, but that's probably overpriced. So this guy's not online, so this is gives us a bit of an idea, but maybe he hasn't come online. This could be a bargain, and maybe he just hasn't come online, or it could be accurate. So we're looking at, after crafting this, potentially a 10 chaos plus item. So what I could do is I could actually craft this myself. It would add 60 to 79. If I get the 60, maybe sell it for like, 5 or 6 chaos, make my money back. If I get the 79%, then I get then I can sell it for like 10 chaos plus. Missing crit chance? Are these ones missing crit chance? Oh, this one is missing crit. This one here has crit chance and it's a lot more valuable. This one doesn't have crit chance. That is true. This is a problem. Usually wonders will want crit chance as a very important stat. That's a good point. That's something I missed. So without crit chance, that limits the value severely. This one here doesn't have crit chance on it. It has some crit multi. So I think we're looking at maybe under 10 chaos then, because there's no crit chance. I still think it would probably sell though. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take the risk on myself here. I'm gonna add the 2 chaos. You can sell these unmastercrafted things, but not many people look for them, so it's hard to get the buyers. Anyway, I'm investing 2 chaos into this. We got 79. Oh my god! Oh my god, so good. All right, well we got the 79%, guys. Oh yes, 79%. I hit the max roll, so that's very nice. So I'll tell you what, I'll try and sell that for 10 chaos, and we'll see. Maybe I'll come back and leave a comment in the video or something like that if I manage to sell that for 10 chaos. But with quality, that's a decent. I think that's a decent Fizz Wonder one. That's a decent starter endgame wand. So not bad, not bad. I can't believe I got the 10% though, the 79%. That was so perfect. Oh my god, literally perfect. Awesome. So there you go, guys. Hopefully, I am pretty confident I'll make a profit on that. I'll more than get my money back, so not a bad find. Alright, let's go look up Queen's Decree. I missed a unique in there. Queen's Decree, we checked, wasn't in the challenges. Queen's Decree I know is usually like a 1 chaos item, but we can check it anyway. Because this one has some variables on it, I think, that are interesting. What other variables? Skeleton duration and damage. Looks like the rolls are good. I think 15, and then the duration is probably like 200%, but I think mostly the life and damage are the most important ones. We've got 15, 14, so they're pretty good rolls. But I don't think Queen's Decree is very popular because most summoners these days use one-handers. Yeah, it's like not even selling. Okay, I'm seeing like a bunch of 1 jeweler items up there. I'm not going to take the time to sell a 1 jeweler item. Look, I get 12 alch shards for it. That's better than a jeweler. I could probably buy those 1 jeweler items and sell them for alch shards and make a profit. There you go, guys. There's an arbitrage opportunity for you, if you had the time for that. So yeah, that one's not worth selling. Okay, what else have we got here? Let's check out these boots. These are life tri-res. We could add, at the very worst, 8% move speed to them. So let's pretend that's a 10%. We'll just pretend. We'll search for boots. I think these are not going to be worth anything, guys, but we'll see. We'll see. We can actually just search increase move speed. We're looking for ones that have some move speed on them, and then we're looking for life. Oh, actually, this is basically an item that has no life on it, so let's just pretend it has no life. We'll look for elemental resistances. I think this gives 3 searches for items with 3 resistances. Number of resistances. Yeah, let's just go resistances there. I think this works this way. Let's see. People do that with items at vendor for 1 alch. Yeah, there's definitely that arbitrage opportunity there, isn't there? Okay. Alright, that looked like it searched for tri-res boots. So here we go. Here's boots that are pretty much strictly better than ours. I mean, the resists are a bit worse, but it has 30% move speed and the very low life roll like ours, and it's up for 2 jewelers. So is there anything else that's reasonably comparable? Let's try and find some other items. This is pretty comparable. 6 alterations, which is like an alch. This is pretty comparable. An alch. I mean, maybe I could sell this for an alch. Yeah, but it's a shame because, you know, try res. The res rolls are not too bad really, but with a higher life roll, maybe worth a couple chaos. But without, it's only gonna be an alch. So we now know. Whenever you do stuff like this, you know for the future now that alright, a pair of boots without a decent life roll and decent move speed, even if they have good resist, probably not going to be worth anything. But that's like a pair of starter boots for someone. I mean, the thing is, no one's really going to spend 4 alchs to add move speed to those. I think someone might just use those for an alch, but potentially just vendor food anyway. Okay, what else have we got? This one's another pair of boots, so we'll do this now. This has got 80 life, decent fire res, and 25 move speed, so this one's pretty easy to look for. This one we can actually add some life to. Resistance is 1. Add mod. Life. And it's got 80 life, so I'll just add like 70 life. And the move speed on this one is 25, so I'll just add 20. We'll find boots that are fairly similar to what we've got. We can actually, I'll just go the resistances and we'll just eyeball it. You can actually search for amounts of resist, so if you got like 30% fire, you could search for 20% fire. The thing is though, fire, lightning, cold, they're all pretty interchangeable. So we can again just search by amount. I don't think we're going to get too much here. Life, 1 resist move speed. I don't think it's really going to sell. 0 chaos. Wow, interesting. So we got 30 resist. Let's try and find something comparable here. 17. There we go. There's something. This is almost exactly our item, right? One alch. I mean, probably not going to sell. I would probably just vendor it, to be honest. Okay. Let's do some belts. These belts look interesting. I usually, when I did the jewelry crafting video, I just kind of like guesstimated prices, but I'll show you guys how to price check as well. It's the same process for all of these items, really. Okay, so this one we've got, this is a belt with life and a resistance. It's a rustic sash, so we can actually go, if we put rustic sash in here, it'll only search for rustic sashes. And then we can go, explicit is life, we have a 80 for life roll, so we can go like 75 to get pretty close. And then we've got a resistance, so we can type in 1 resistance there. And then we can kind of just eyeball it. It's got some energy shield, that actually does add value, but it would be a bit misleading to search for energy shield, I think. That sort of thing I take a base price and then I add like an alch, or I add a chaos to it. We'll try searching an energy shield here. Let's put in like 20 energy shield. Let's see what other people have priced similar items at. Okay, that one is a bit worse than ours. That one's fairly worse. That's closer. That one's pretty close. 1 alch. 38 fire with a bit of ES. That one's pretty close. That's actually better than ours, so it's got armor. So it looks like not really worth anything, this one. I think I'd probably just chuck this up for an alch. Or, you know, what I would actually do is put it in my Chaos Vendor recipe tab, which is priced at 1 alch or 1 chaos. And if it sells, it sells. If not, I'll use it in the vendor recipe. Okay, this one is a much better life roll, and it's got 2 resistances. It's got the ES roll. This one, I think, based on the previous belt we priced, probably don't really even need to look it up. Probably could sell that for like 2 chaos, so I'll chuck that in there for that. All right, what do we got? What do we got left here? We've got a few rings here. Okay, so this one's life or resist. You can actually just price blue items, and they'll actually be worth more than an equivalent rare item because they have potential to be crafted. So this one, so let's just go rings for this one. And I'm gonna go life. I'm gonna remove this resistance roll. And what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go 65 life. And we'll actually specifically put in all resistance because people value that much more highly. So let's go 12 all res. So looking for rings with 65 life, 12 all res, and see what people have priced those up. Okay. Alright, this one here, comparable. The strength and the dexterity don't really add too much. They might be a problem solved for someone. Let's keep looking. That one's pretty comparable, but it's a rare again. This one is terrible. What the hell? Didn't I put life in? Oh, it's a... Right, it's got strength and max life on it. The base isn't so good, I think, for this one. That it's a gold ring with a poor implicit as well. It at least needs bless orbing. I'm thinking, based on what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing life and resist for like a chaos, but none of these are probably selling. However, this one can have stuff added to it. I'm tempted to regal this one, honestly, because if it gets a rarity roll, it'll be worth quite a bit. I'm gonna regal this one. We had luck last time. Last time I took the risk myself, right, with the wand. There we go. Let's regal it and see what we get. Mana. Alright, well, that's not really worth anything. So, I'm pretty sure I lost money on that one. So, I'm actually going to put that in the vendor one. It's honestly, it's not that bad, but this is priced at 1 chaos anyway. I'll just try and, like, leave that in there for a while and maybe it'll sell. Alright, this one here, this one's 2 resists and life. I'm just going to put it up for a chaos. Someone can craft that if they like. Basically, someone can take this and be like, well, I need some more lightning resist than this has, but I can put some lightning resist on it myself. Alright, this one is... a bit of fizz damage. We can search for fizz damage rings and see what they go for. It's got no life on it though, so that might hurt it quite a bit. It's got some resistance. Elemental resistances. Total elemental resistance. We can do it this way. It's got 35. Let's put in total elemental resistances. Add mod. Physical damage. Increased physical damage. I think if I just put like a 7 in there, it'll probably be okay. And then I can actually go the physical damage in here as well, for people looking specifically for iron rings that are trying to like min-max their face breaker build. This is a face breaker, if anything. I'm checking for value against face breaker builds on this particular item. Nothing was found? What did I do wrong? Oh, it's in percent increased fizz damage. Ugh, that's not actually a thing. Physical damage. There you go. Adds 1 to 4 physical damage. Perfect. Do you know you can copy paste items into a PoE trade? Yes, you can, but I don't do that. And the reason I don't do that, you can do that. You can Control C and then you can paste it into it's like import item data somewhere around here. I don't use it because what it does is it searches too tightly. It's looking for a ring that's exactly like this. So I prefer to manually type in some smaller amounts. I'm not really seeing anything here. Let's get rid of this. Let's see if anything comes up. Alright, this is a weird case where I'm not really seeing any other things. What I'll probably do then is I'll check PoE mods to see what the role of the physical is. So we'll go ring. And based on how good the physical role is, I might just kind of guesstimate it myself. So 7 to 12 is tier 2, and it's an iron ring, so maybe a facebreaker will want a bit of extra damage. It's 48. They could use it potentially to level a little bit. It's got some resist on it, can have life added to it. I'm just going to put it up for a chaos. Okay. Bit of a weird case. A difficult one to price. Alright, what's this one here? We've got a Fizz Dagger. Let's have a look. We've done a few Fizz weapons now, so this should be pretty second nature for you guys, hopefully by now. Did I do percent Fizz again, did I? Oh well. I might have searched percent Fizz on that ring. Anyway, I'll leave it up for that. Okay, what do we got here? So this one's got crit chance on it. It can, I think it can have attack speed. Let's check if it can have attack speed added to it. Oh no, it's already 6 mods, so it can't have anything added to it. So this dagger is as good as it's gonna get. So let's price it based on that. So this one, I'll show you guys the other way of calculating a weapon, a fizz weapon. We take our little calculator buddy here. We go 44, which is the minimum physical damage, plus 146, which is the total physical damage. Then you divide by 2. That gives you 95 for this one. Then you times it by the attack speed, which is 1.5. Now we can't increase attack speed on that, so it's fine to do this. It's 142 fizz DPS with crit chance. So what I'm going to do is going to go... We can search crit strike chance in here, and I can put like 7.5. And then I'm going to put in fizz DPS. Yeah, make sure you put it in fizz DPS. I'm going to put 140. We're going to see if 140 fizz DPS, crit 7.5, crit daggers are worth anything. I'm guessing probably not. I think the DPS is probably too low without any attack speed, but we'll see. I should be looking at daggers specifically because a dagger build is only going to use daggers. He's not going to search claws or swords or anything. There's very few generic builds that can use daggers or swords. Okay, I'm seeing 147. Ours was 142. This is pretty much strictly better than our dagger, and it is 1 alch. So this one is a 1 alch sale, if that. So not high enough DPS. So we now know, we've now learned all daggers we look at in the future fizz daggers, we now know that you need basically a little bit higher than 140 for it to start being worth anything. We can actually scroll down and learn here while we're here. We're looking at 150-ish for one. We're starting to move up in price at around 160 fizz DPS. And I'm also noticing that I'm seeing Slaughter Knife, Royal Skein, Platinum Chris. This one's a Royal Skein, so I am seeing some Royal Skeins in there. Imperial Skein, maybe not the best base. I'm seeing more Slaughter Knives than anything. So now you've learned when we look for daggers in future maps that Slaughter Knives potentially the most valuable. Like they're the most commonly rolling the good stats. And we now know a basic sort of fizz DPS, so if you like find a weapon and you're like, oh, it's 160 fizz DPS, that actually might be worth something. But this one probably won't sell. I'll put it up in my 1 alch bargain bin since I have space to anyway. Okay. What else have we got here? +2 minion. Didn't add the flat fizz. You don't need to add the flat fizz for pricing fizz weapons. You can just literally just type in the fizz DPS after you calculate it. Oh, when you're doing this thing, so this is what you're asking here, hold on. When you do this thing, you calculate it based on the physical damage listed at the top, so the 118 to 223. That includes the flat fizz and the increased physical damage. Okay, so this is a +2 minion helmet. We'll go ahead and reset here. +2 minion helmets to be valuable need life and resistances, as well as the +2 minions, and the base kind of does matter, and I don't know if this base is very good. So what we'll do is I'll go, we want to specifically go minion, socket of minion gems, and we're looking specifically for 2. We're going to search for ones with life and resistances as well, and we're going to try and find the valuable ones. So this is 80, so I'll put in 70. The reason I don't put in 81, which is what I have, is because then you're discounting things that have like 79 life, which really won't have much less value. So this one's 25 of total resistance. Oops, what am I doing? Total resistance. 25 total resistance. So it's got 25 of something in terms of resistances. So not a lot of resist, pretty low really. Okay, search for buyouts. So we can find out what bases are pricing well. So we're seeing ES bases with a couple chaos. I'm seeing a couple chaos and other ones. People might be not very good at pricing these helmets too. I suspect most people don't know much about summoners. This one's priced at 2 exalts because it's got rarity on it as well, and I assume it's a good base too. So it looks like Armor ES bases might be pretty popular. Yeah, okay, well let's just search for minimum now and see if there's minimum price here. This is something I still need to learn, whether like evasion ES bases are decent for this. Here is an evasion ES base with better stats than us, and it's only worth an alch, so I'm probably just going to vendor this one. I think we need better resistances for that to start to be worth something. Alright, this one was interesting. Let's do this one. I remember why we pulled this one as size. This is a helmet here, and we're going to search for energy shield amounts on this helmet. So this is a part of learning what energy shield has value. So we already know this has got good total resist, so we can put total resist in here. Let's just start off by searching energy shield. So I'm actually just going to go, how much energy shield is worth something? We can add, how much percent can we add to this? We can add, let's say 60% to this. Now that should just times that by 1.6, I imagine, but it also gets quality. Looks like we can get like 200-ish energy shield on that. So let's see how much 200 energy shield helmets are worth. From memory, from doing a low life character, I think you need like 300 for them to get worth a lot. But we can, I'm seeing 200 energy shields not selling for anything. There's like a bunch of rhyme gazers there even. So just 200 ES by itself is not enough. But let's add in resistances as well. So we'll add in total resistances, total elemental resistances, and we've got 80, so I'll put in like 70. Okay, so now we'll start to look at if there's maybe 200 shield with a bit of resist is okay. This is probably going to be, this isn't linked, we can't count that one because it's corrupted. Okay, this one here is probably about as good as our helmet, right? 2 chaos. This one here, about as good as our helmet, 2 chaos. Alright, moving, 3 chaos even. 4 chaos moving up, this is actually probably a little bit overpriced even. It's got +1 minion maybe that's why. This one here is a bit better than ours. 4 chaos. Alright, I'm seeing like some 2 chaos. I can probably sell that for at least 1, probably 2 chaos. So now I know like 200 ES with really good resist. Yeah, only a couple chaos. We need to get into like that 300 ES range before it starts to become valuable in ES helmets. And ES based armor, ES is very important because it's basically the life that you would usually have on an item. Alright, was there any other interesting ones I wanted to really show off here? I think I'm not going to bother with these ones too much. The same process for shields, if you're looking at one that's just got ES and resistances on it, search for ones that have total ES, and then add the resistances and try and find value based on that, same as we did with that helmet. Otherwise, if they got some spellcaster rolls, just like we've done with previous weapons, search for, you know, this one I would search for 70 crit chance, I would search for total resistances of 30, and then I would see if that sort of thing is worth anything. I'd probably find, with a bit of searching, that you need spell damage for it to be worth something. I think that one's not worth anything. This one might be worth a little bit, I guess like a chaos or 2, and I think probably the same for this one too. These are probably both 1 chaos items, and that one's probably vendor. So I'll just, to cut this short, I'll stop there. But basically the same process. So guys, hopefully you have found this an interesting sort of thing and learned a few things about pricing items from this. All of these things, as you do them, it takes a bit of time, right? And it seems a bit of a letdown to price an item and find out it's worth a chaos or less, or it's vendor food. But each time I do that, I now know things like, you know, how much fizz damage to look out for on a dagger. I now know what dagger's bases are better. I know how much ES I'm looking for on a helmet. So just by spending this time, I've actually learned a few things about the economy at the moment. And that's how you learn the economy, and that's how you learn to start pricing items. So whenever I'm like doing price checks for people, it's based on things that I've searched for previously. And I'm always like, if I wanted to buy a sword for my character, right? In doing so, I searched, you know, a bunch of different stats on swords and learned how much DPS is worth what other stats add price, and then that's how you start to gauge that value. And in trying to buy something, you'll learn a lot about it. So do that. Price these items even if you think they're not worth anything. You'll start to get a gauge of what actually is worth something. Then next time you see an item that's similar, you'll be like, all right, maybe this is actually worth something. This is a little bit higher, or I need to look for better daggers before they start being worth anything. So what did we find in terms of this? Did we find anything really good? I think we found one good item. I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, the wand. The wand was the winner from today. Not a bad wand. You know, from all that loot we identified, I got a bunch of like 1 chaos items, 2 chaos items, a couple pieces of jewelry that were okay-ish, a lot of chaos vendor recipe, but I got 1 decent one for 10 chaos. That's fine. And that was like a couple DOM runs and a couple maps. Not that long. It took a long time to talk through all this process, but as you get better at it, you'll be able to identify and sort of just like sight value those things much more quickly. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So anyway, I'll actually do an outro for this one. That's it for now. I'm Ziggy D, and thanks for watching. Okay, Corin asks, isn't that circlet you priced for 2 counts?